This episode is sponsored by Gamergy, the gaming energy drink made by gamers for gamers. Check it out in 4 great flavors: Purple Nurple, Red Alert, Binary Blue, and Epic Green. Hey, what is going on YouTube? My name is Caleb. You can call me LordMoch, and today I'm bringing you just a breakdown of a brand new awesome show that I watched last Tuesday. It was the series premiere called Cosplay Melee on the Syfy channel. It is hosted by the wonderful, very talented, I loved her in Drake and Josh and in Community. She's a fantastic actress and just a fantastic fan in general. I love seeing her on Talking Dead. Yvette Nicole Brown. But before we get into it, remember guys, this episode is sponsored by Gamergy, the gaming energy drink made by gamers for gamers. Check it out. If it's not in your gaming store or in your comic book store, tell them you want it. Tell them you are demanding it, that you want to be able to be fueled for hours and hours of gaming. In fact, after this, I'm going to play me some Mass Effect Andromeda, so time to fuel up. But let's get to the video first. Okay, so there are 3 judges of Cosplay Melee, and the first episode, which was last Tuesday, was a sci-fi episode, which, if anybody knows me, I love me some sci-fi, so was really fun. It was really interesting. But we're gonna go ahead and get to the judges first, then break down the cosplayers and their costumes, and then just give my my tidbit. Now, guys, I am nowhere near on the level of these guys. This is just my perspective, what I liked, what I didn't like. I am not taking shots at anyone. All the costumes were amazing, all the pieces were amazing, and that is far above my skills right now as a cosplayer. So this is just my opinion, but let's go ahead and get into it. Let's have some fun with it. So, like I said, it is hosted by Yvette Nicole Brown. She is a wonderful actress. I love seeing her on Talking Dead. She's always doing a huge analysis of everything on there. But, you know, and I think this was great, having a super fan, but someone who still knows how to be in front of a camera. Yvette Nicole Brown is a super fan. No joke. She embodies what it is to be a fan of whatever fandom you enjoy. And I love seeing her on the show. I'm so glad she's there. But the second judge is actually a cosplayer, which, you know, would make sense for Cosplay Melee, but it is the mistress of the night, the wonderfully talented Miss Leanna Vamp. I am a huge fan of Leanna Vamp. She's a great cosplayer. 501st and honorary member. Awesome cosplays. Does a lot of horror and Star Wars themed cosplays that I've seen other stuff. You know, one of my favorite non-Star Wars, non-horror theme is her Zubat, because Zubat's one of my favorite Pokemon. So glad she was doing that. But here's her and her Princess Leia sexy boutique kind of thing. I mean, it's just a great cosplay. It's a different interpretation of Leia. And here's Vampirella. She is the mistress of the night, so of course she's going to do costumes like that. But she's a great talent. She's I'm so glad she's on the show, because she really knows what she's doing. She can really break down the cosplayers' designs and what works, what doesn't work, you know, things like that. But the last judge is actually a costume maker or fabricator for famous movies like Tron Legacy, Men in Black 3. His name is Christian Beckman. Now, I don't know a lot about Christian Beckman, but he's worked on a lot of movies that I enjoy. So obviously he's talented. He worked on Hunger Games. You know what? We're just going to pull it up real quick here. He has worked on Tron Legacy, The Hunger Games, Men in Black 3, Snow White and the Huntsman, Ender's Game, Last Airbender, Star Trek, Where the Wild Things Are, War of the Worlds, and I Am Legend. And that, if that is not a resume, I don't know what is. So this guy really knows what he's talking about. He's going to give the professional opinion, more like Leanna Vamp is a professional, but she's also a cosplayer, and cosplay could still be seen by some. It's not seen to me that way, but cosplay is not really seen as a huge art compared to costume making in Hollywood. So he's going to give probably the most professional analysis of a cosplay. But the first person that I'm going to break down, well, we're just going to introduce them all real quick. We have the 4 contestants here. This is Grace. She said she was an ex-police officer, I'm pretty sure, but very talented. I actually just found her YouTube channel. I'm going to start checking her out. She did a really cool cosplay this week. They all did really good, really good pieces. We have Alicia here, then Fred, and Xavier. And we're going to go in that order. So, well, not that order. We're going to go Grace, Fred, Alicia, and Xavier. We're going to save Xavier for last because, spoilers ahead, Xavier won this week. And by the way, I will be posting my breakdown the following week after. So there's no spoilers. You got a week. If you watch my show, you have a week, okay? And then I'm going to post my analysis, okay? But let's go ahead and get started. We're going to look into a little bit of what makes Grace here tick in some of the cosplay she's done in the past. So apparently Grace is a big Mass Effect fan, and I like that. I mean, Edie is one of my favorite characters in Mass Effect 3. She also has done Femme Shep, but we'll go back to that. But, I mean, this is a great costume. Look at this. I mean, this is quality movie screen right here. So she knows what she's doing. She's really good. I mean, I don't know how long she spent on this, but it's a great cosplay. And by the way, guys, all these pictures are just used to describe the, the characters and everything. These are their pictures. I'm only using them for a description basis. I do not own any of the images in this video. But I mean, just a fantastic look, fantastic cosplay. This Femme Shep knows that this shows that she knows how to work with armor. She weathered that down beautifully. It looks great. It looks like she's been in a battle or two. So she knows what she's doing. I mean, and points to her for being a police officer. She's going to know what battle, I mean, not as much maybe as a soldier or something, but she's going to know what some battle-heavy looking stuff might look like compared to the average citizen. So, but we got Femme Shep and Edie, and I wanted to find something outside of Mass Effect, and something that wasn't necessarily armor or anything. So I don't know if she sewed this or not, but it is a beautiful cosplay. It's a Zavrak Jedi with, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is it a biomechanical hand? Maybe she was poking fun at Star Wars and the loss of limbs in that show. Oh my gosh, but I mean, it's just beautiful. She looks great. Grace did a fantastic job, but let's go ahead and go into our next cosplayer here on the show. It is Fred, and Fred looks like an interesting guy. He does some pretty interesting cosplays. I love this steampunk bender. He did a fantastic job on it. He did say in the show that his wife is the sewer, and he is the prop maker / fabricator, so apparently that's the kind of costumes he likes, because he said it himself, he is not a sewer. So, but Fred, your cloak looked amazing. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here in a little bit. And these costumes look amazing. I love this steampunk bender. I do not know what this is from. It may be Star Trek, it may be something else. I don't know. But this is amazing. This huge shield with the LED display here, and the this huge cannon-like arm. Fred knows what he's doing. This guy knows what he's doing. This guy cranks out big costumes, knows how to fabricate. Maybe the only thing that went wrong with him this week was the time constraints, so he could make it look cleaner and, I don't know. I mean, there was a couple things. We'll go over them here in a minute. But, Fred, you are an amazing fabricator, amazing armor maker, you're an amazing cosplayer altogether, man. And I remember what you said in the episode that, everyone's going to look down on the old guy. I am not doing that. You know what you're doing. You are never too old to cosplay, and man, keep cranking stuff out like this, and there's no limit to what you can do. So, amazing. Thank you so much, Fred. Our next cosplayer, I actually have to pull up the images because I couldn't find any for Alicia. She was actually the first round person to be dropped out, and we'll go ahead and explain why. First round, they were to do headpieces, and her headpiece was, I wish I can get a picture of it, guys. I looked on the website, I looked on Google, I looked on her Twitter, I checked, and I could not find a picture of her headpiece. And I have a concept art picture, but it doesn't give it justice. Her headpiece was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. And literally, the only reason she was knocked out of the competition. Hold on, let me get the camera back up here. The only reason she was knocked out of the competition was, and here's the headpiece that I'm talking about, was because the back of it was only being tied up by a string. I'm not going to go into detail how she could have beat the other person that was possibly up for elimination. I'll go into detail when we get to analyzing the headpieces and for all the characters. But she was doing a Chronicles of Riddick inspired cosplay, and it really shows in this design. This design is beautiful. I really hope to see this done in the future for her. In fact, I don't know how much my voice carries, but I'm going to tweet her, and I'm going to say, this design is beautiful. I hope you'll finish it so we can see it, because this is just gorgeous. That headpiece, besides the back of it only being tied by strings, which isn't, compared to what the other guys did, using strings to do it wasn't very clean compared to what they did. So I don't fault the judges for that. But when you're looking at it from the front, this headpiece was flawless. Flawless. Beautiful. So Alicia, don't let it get you down. I mean, that was just a beautiful headpiece. I really want to see the finished piece from you. So, and I'm sure everyone else wants to see the finished piece from you. So please, please, please finish this cosplay for us. We really want to see it. But let's go ahead and get back into it. Move the camera back over here. Our next cosplayer is Xavier. Xavier, he just tugged at the heartstrings. He reminded me so much of myself when I was younger. Very quiet, very soft-spoken kind of guy. Picked on a lot as a kid for his, nerdy glasses look and everything. I was picked on a lot as a kid for being a bigger, chubby guy. And I feel you, Xavier. I really do. You're a wonderful cosplayer, man. And I only hope the best for all of you. But Xavier, you got a little special piece of my heart with you, bud. Because you feel like a kindred spirit, man. Don't let anybody knock you down. Batman can be black. I don't care. Skin tone does not matter. I don't care. I'm going to point that out right now. And anybody that has anything else to say about it, go fly a kite. Go fly a kite. But Xavier, let's go ahead and get back to it. Xavier did this wonderful Batman cosplay. I mean, the cowl, the armor, everything looks amazing. And this Dark Trooper, flawless, amazing. This is 501st quality right here, guys. He knows what he's doing. He's a great cosplayer. Just making sure that wasn't my wife texting me. I believe we have one more picture. Okay. And this Garrus from Mass Effect, just beautiful. I mean, I cannot. You know what? I'm done. I'm not even explaining it. Look at it. I don't have words, so appreciate it. But yeah, guys, all of them are very talented cosplayers. All of them have, different talents, different knacks, but all of them together knew what they were doing. They were fantastic cosplayers. The show was really good. But let's go ahead and get into it. The first round, like I said, was headpieces. So the first headpiece right here for Grace, or Zombie, as she's called on her YouTube page and everything. She did a Guardians of the Galaxy inspired bounty hunter, and the first round they only introduced the headpieces, so I'm going to focus on the headpiece here. So in fact, I'm going to zoom in on this. Initially she wasn't able to see out of this, and that was huge points deducted on her for that. And remember what I was saying earlier, that Alicia actually had a chance. If Alicia would have had something a little more intricate on the back of her crown thingy, she probably would have knocked Zombie out. And I mean, no hate for me, Zombie. You did an amazing cosplay, and I'm glad I got to see it. But just the fact that she couldn't see out of it was detrimental. I mean, not being able to see out of a helmet or a visor like that is dangerous for cosplayers. It's dangerous on walkways and runways. So, I mean, maybe she still would have beat her out because it is a great headpiece. It's a great, you know, bounty hunter looking visor thing. So, whatever it is, but that is the headpiece. I'm not gonna go into Alicia's headpiece because we already went into it. So we'll go into Fred's next. Do I have to zoom back out first? There we go. Oh, and here's her full body image right here. Okay, so we're going to do headpiece and then full body image. This rail cannon was really cool. The only thing I have to say about her, about this cosplay, is maybe it could have looked a little cleaner. And what I mean by cleaner is, I'm not talking about making the battle damage go away, but you can tell if something's military grade, something's like not military grade, and like I said, no hate. I'm just giving my opinions, guys. I mean, all these guys are winners to me, so, but that's just my opinion. Zombie, you're a wonderful cosplayer. I love your work, so, and I look forward to checking out more of your YouTube channel. But let's go ahead and get into Fred now. So, Fred actually changed his headpiece, and I'm going to zoom in on it here real quick. This was originally his headpiece, and he had a chrome dome top here, but the top was kind of caving in, and it wasn't, you know, it didn't fit over the head like it should have. It was messy looking, for lack of a better word. So he decided to do this piece, and the helmet and the rest of this visor and everything was originally part of his original headpiece, but he couldn't get it to fit over this chrome spot right here. So those were some points against him. And I mean, not to hate on anything, but I mean, I do understand if you're gonna make this, it should work with this, because putting this on to cover up the whole entire face and then taking it off is an effect that could wow a crowd. But look at this armor. This armor is so, for lack of a better word, beautiful. I mean, and this minigun that he has for an arm, he did say this was Star Trek inspired, so I'm not as big of a Star Trek fan as my dad or other people are, so I mean, I guess it looks Borgish to me. But this cloak, this is the cloak I was talking about that he sewed. I think he did a wonderful job on the cloak, so just my opinion. But let's go ahead and get into Xavier here. Xavier's helmet, I can only capture an image from one side, but you can see how beautiful this helmet is already. Xavier did a wonderful Star Wars inspired, underworld crime boss inspired cosplay. This helmet, just gorgeous. No words. No words. Xavier's obviously my favorite, guys. I love them all, but he is my favorite. Let's go ahead and get to the full body image. Oh, and one thing I would like to say is everyone did guns except Xavier, so, but this is the rail cannon, and Fred did the rotary gun, Gatling gun thing. So I applaud Xavier for doing something different and doing a vibro weapon, which is only seen, I think, in Star Wars. And a vibro weapon is, the weapon has a battery cell in it that makes the blade vibrate so fast that it could cut through anything. So I applaud him for doing something different, because doing something different makes you stand out. And I think that was a good choice on his end. Like I said, Alicia ended up losing the first round with the helmets or headpieces. The second round, they were able to take ordinary pieces you'd find, and the examples were well, not the examples, the things that were there were a leaf blower. I'm gonna look at my notes here real quick. A leaf blower. Air conditioning duct stuff, and muffler parts for a car. And they were to take these parts and build a jetpack or something that could make them fly. Since Xavier won round one with his helmet, he was able to pick first, and he picked the leaf blower, which, if you guys have seen a leaf blower, it already kind of looks like a jetpack if you use your imagination a little bit. You don't really have to do much to it, so it was a very safe approach, and that was all him. That was his decision to do, so I'm glad he did it. Fred here ended up using the car parts, the car muffler parts, which were really cool. I wish I could show you the pictures, but I couldn't find any, guys. It really sucks, but I couldn't find any. A big problem with his, though, he wasn't able to remove his cloak fluidly by himself. It took time. So maybe that's why Christian Beckman had a problem with the cloak, but everyone else loved it. And Zombie here, you can kind of see it a little bit, did the air conditioning duct stuff. She was kind of faulted for hers a little bit because it didn't look clean. I don't know if that's the proper word, but I mean, these cosplays are still amazing. So when you're doing something with this kind of talent, you have to nitpick every single thing, and I understand that, but I always feel like I'm, complaining for no reason. So I hope nobody sees it like that. But that was the second challenge, is to take this random piece and make a jetpack out of it. Xavier did end up winning that challenge too. He was the overall winner. The only so I'm gonna go ahead and see what the judges had to say. They did say the jetpack, the railgun was kind of funky looking, even though it looked great. It looked great from far away, but when you got in close, that's the cosplayer's nightmare right there. When you got in close, you could see the faults and the cracks and stuff in it. The helmet still kind of looked a little wonky, but those were the faults they had on her. Christian Beckman had a problem with the cloak, but all of them had a problem with the face mask not being able to fit. So there was really no point in his original headpiece being there. So that was a big detrimental fault on him. But the only fault, and this was a really minor one, the only fault they had on Xavier's cosplay was that he played it too safe with his jetpack and the leaf blower. So picking the leaf blower could have possibly hurt him a little bit, but Xavier did end up winning. He did win the first episode of Cosplay Melee ever, so he will go down in history as the first ever winner, but all the others will go down in history too as the first ever contestants. So I hope you guys will check out all these amazing cosplayers. Their Twitters will be in the description below. If they have a YouTube or a Facebook page, I'll put those in the description below. But guys, check out this amazing show. It is just amazing. Today's episode, I am shooting this on the following Tuesday, so like I said, I'm going to put up an episode for the previous week on the next week's episode date, so you'll have time to watch it. But today's episode that's going to be airing, in a few hours from now, will be Game of Thrones inspired, so I'm really looking forward to that. But if, let me know if you guys like this. I really do like to do breakdowns of things. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't pretend to be, and I'm not going to pretend to be. But this is just something I enjoy doing, But lots of love to Xavier, Fred, Alicia, and Grace. You guys did amazing. Thank you so much for showing us your cosplay, showing us what you can do. It was just an honor to see you guys on TV and, to show that cosplay is making cultural impacts. So I'm really happy to see that. But if you guys did enjoy this episode, make sure you Sith lightning that like button. If you're new to the channel, use the Force to subscribe. And remember, we are the Force, each and every one of us. So let's connect. May the Force be with you and have a great day.